It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. The export income of the country has been increased by 31% at present compared to the last year. A global export trade exchange centre will be set up near Valleypenna interchange of the Southern Expressway. Legal action will be taken tomorrow against a private company who sold flour for higher prices. Special warehouse complex will be built in USA to store Sri Lankan garment products. Sri Lanka recorded the lowest single-day coronavirus cases since the 28th of April. And in world news, at least 40 rescued as Philippine military plane crashes. And in sports news, the third and final ODI between Sri Lanka and England will be played this evening. Now the local news in detail. Trade Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that the export income of the country has been increased by 31% at present, even during the global economic crisis situation. This growth has been shown during the time period compared to January to June last year. The minister was speaking at a conference held in this regard yesterday. The government is working hard to increase the export sector in the country through developing export processing villages. The minister said that small and medium-scale businessmen will be able to reach the global export sector through this endeavour. A global export trade exchange centre will be set up near Valleypenna interchange of the Southern Expressway. The minister said that the relevant cabinet paper will be forwarded to the Cabinet of Ministers soon. The Consumer Affairs Authority says that legal action will be taken against a leading flour importation company tomorrow as they have sold flour for high prices. The company has sold 159 varieties of flour, including wheat flour, around 18 rupees higher than the controlled price. Special warehouse complex will be built in USA to store Sri Lankan garment products. The USA is the leading buyer of the Sri Lankan garments. The Sri Lanka Export Development Board and several medium-scale business entities are working towards this measure. They say that while storing Sri Lankan export and own storages at US, a high profit could be earned. Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena engaged in a productive interaction with a cross-section of overseas Sri Lankans representing community and business associations as well as the Mahasangha and other religious leaders in Singapore and Brunei Darussalam in a virtual meeting recently. The newly established Overseas Sri Lankans Division has taken this new initiative to hold a series of discussions for regular interaction with overseas Sri Lankans to reconnect them with the motherland and play their crucial role in promoting transnational ties between Sri Lanka and their host countries. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
Continuing local news, Emirates Airlines has suspended carrying air passengers to UAE from Sri Lanka, Pakistan and Bangladesh. This decision will be in effect until the 15th of this month. Minister Mahinda Amaraweera says that the Sri Lanka's drive towards the organic fertilizer will be appreciated by the entire world in the future. The minister expressed hope that more than 90% in Sri Lankan cultivation will use organic fertilizer by next year. The minister said that the income of the farmers will also increase from this move. The Criminal Investigations Department has arrested a resident of Panadura, revealed to be the owner of the website used to advertise a 15-year-old child for sexual exploitation. Another suspect, believed to be the financial controller of the racket, was arrested in Piliandala by the CID yesterday. Police media spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana said the number of persons arrested in connection to the incident increases to 26. The senior DIG said the police cybercrimes unit assisted in the operation to identify the suspects. These 2 persons are scheduled to produce before the courts today. Police are continuing operations to apprehend 16 others identified to be involved in the incident. Meanwhile, another 5 persons, including a captain of a ship and a gem businessman who were arrested for allegedly sexually exploiting the girl, were remanded until the 15th of July. The order was issued by Colombo Additional Magistrate Chandima Liyanage yesterday. The group has been accused of sexually exploiting the girl and are also charged with online trafficking through a special website and social media. Among the persons arrested is the vice chairman of the Mihintale Pradeshiya Sabha. The police is searching for another 16 persons to be arrested in this regard. The final rites of the chairman of the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment, Kamal Ratwate, will take place at 3:30 p.m. this evening. He passed away yesterday at the age of 61 while receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo for several days. Kamal Ratwate had previously served as the vice chairman of the Airport and Aviation Services Limited. Kamal Ratwate, son of former MP Clifford Ratwate, also served as the Basnayaka Nilame of the Ratnapura Saman Devalaya previously. With that, we conclude the local news. The main news story follows.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112 357 357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Sri Lanka confirmed only 1,262 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, the lowest single-day tally in the country since the 28th of April. Accordingly, the number of confirmed infections in Sri Lanka increased to 264,057. Among yesterday's cases, 1,251 were linked to the New Year COVID-19 cluster. 11 persons who arrived in the country recently from overseas also tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said 29,472 persons are currently receiving treatment for the coronavirus at several facilities. Yesterday, 1,853 persons who recovered from COVID-19 were discharged from hospitals, raising the number of recoveries to 231,394. 985 suspected COVID-19 cases are also under medical observation. Meanwhile, 34 COVID-19 related fatalities were reported yesterday, raising the country's virus death toll to 3,191. That was a main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, people in the area say that drainage system by the side of the road has not been properly laid when developing Elpitiya Batuwanhena Sri Jawadanarama Road. Therefore, they said that motorcycles and three-wheelers often meet with accidents in the area. Chairman of the Elpitiya Pradeshiya Sabha, this is for your attention. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows. The headlines of the world news: thousands protest in Brazil against Bolsonaro over pandemic handling. At least 40 rescued as Philippine military plane crashes. Critically endangered antelope saiga makes comeback. Now the world news in detail. Tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets across Brazil to protest against the government of President Jair Bolsonaro and its handling of the COVID pandemic. The protests were triggered by recent allegations of corruption involving the purchase of vaccines by the health ministry. Last month, the number of COVID-19 deaths in Brazil passed 500,000. It is the second highest death toll in the world after the US. Late on Friday, a Supreme Court judge approved a request by the Prosecutor General to open an investigation into Mr. Bolsonaro's role in the scandal. A Philippine Air Force C-130 aircraft carrying troops crashed in a southern province on Sunday after missing the runway, and at least 40 people on board were rescued, the military chief said. Chief of Staff did not immediately say how many people were on board the aircraft and if there were casualties after it crashed in the village in the mountainous town of Paticul Solo province. The plane was transporting troops from southern Cagayan de Oro, Mr. Sojan said. Government forces have been battling Abu Sayyaf militants in the predominantly Muslim province of Solo for decades. Mr. Sojan said at least 40 people on board were brought to a hospital and troops were trying to save the rest. The population of a rare type of antelope has more than doubled since 2019 in a remarkable turnaround in fortunes. According to the first aerial survey in 2 years, the number of saiga in the Kazakhstan heartland has risen from 334,000 to 842,000. There were fears the animal was on the brink of extinction following a mass die-off in 2015. Following a series of conservation measures, including a government crackdown on poaching and local and international conservation work, numbers have started to bounce back. With that, we conclude the world news. Prior to concluding the headlines of the world news once again, thousands protest in Brazil against Bolsonaro over pandemic handling. At least 40 rescued as Philippine military plane crashes. Critically endangered antelope saiga makes comeback. With that, we conclude the world news. The development news follows. Taking a look at the development news, the Department of Registration of Persons has decided to reopen to the public from July 5th only for the limited number of applicants who have received an assigned time and a number. Applicants wishing to visit the Baramulla head office or provincial office to obtain the national identity card should make an appointment by calling the following telephone numbers on office days during the week before the expected week. Baramulla head office number 0115 226 126, 011 5226 100, the Southern Provincial Office 091 222 8348, Northwestern Provincial Office 037 222 4337, Northern Provincial Office 024 222 7201, Eastern Provincial Office 065 222 9449. That was development news. Next up is the sports news. In sports news, first is cricket. The third and final one-day international between Sri Lanka and England will be played in Bristol this evening. The match will commence at 3:30 p.m. Sri Lanka time. Sri Lankan team lost all the matches played in England in this series. Taking a look at football, England produced a magnificent display as they thrashed Ukraine in Rome to set up a Euro 2020 semi-final against Denmark at Wembley. Manager Gareth Southgate's side followed up the landmark victory over Germany in the last 16 by producing a performance of composure and the highest quality to continue their impressive progress in this tournament. Taking a look at cycling, defending champion Tadej Pogačar produced a devastating solo attack to take the yellow jersey on a rain-soaked Stage 8 of the Tour de France. Pogačar, 22, animated the race, riding clear of his rivals on the penultimate climb of the Tour's first day in the Alps, which ended in La Grande Bonnade. It saw him land a major blow in the general classification with fellow pre-race favourites Greg Thomas, Primož Roglič, both distance earlier on Belgium's Dylan Tench won the stage. That ends Sports News.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Some 500 Co-op supermarket stores in Sweden have been forced to close due to an ongoing wholesale cyber attack affecting organizations around the world. Co-op Sweden says it closed more than half of its 800 stores on Friday after point-of-scale tills and self-service checkout stopped working. The supermarket was not itself targeted by hackers, but is one of a growing number of organizations affected by an attack on a large software supplier the company uses indirectly. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Arugambe will be declared as a tourist zone. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said the relevant gazette will be issued next month. 178 projects to the value of more than 10 million rupees will be implemented in the zone. The Ministry of Tourism and Urban Development Authority have jointly prepared a 10-year plan for the tourism zone. That ends Economic News.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. Several spells of showers will occur in Western and Sabragamo provinces and in Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places in Uva and Eastern provinces and in Mullaitivu district in the evening or night. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. That was the weather report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The export income of the country has been increased by 31% at present compared to the last year. A global export trade exchange centre will be set up near Valipanna interchange of the Southern Expressway. Legal action will be taken tomorrow against a private company who sold flour for high prices. Special warehouse complex will be built in USA to store Sri Lankan garment products. Sri Lanka recorded the lowest single-day coronavirus cases since the 28th of April. With that, we conclude the news.